Good morning, students. Today we will discuss the nursing education September 2014. The first question includes list the qualities of educational objectives. What are the concepts of curriculum planning? Explain the factors influencing curriculum development in nursing. The qualities of educational objective are feasible, observable, relevant, measurable, unequivocal, logical, accurable. Make your objectives SMART. S stands for specific, M for measurable, A for attainable, R for relevant, T for time bound. The concepts of curriculum planning. It is a continuous process which involves the activities characterized by interrelations among individuals and the group as they work together in studying, planning, developing and improving the curriculum, which is the total environment planned by the school. It is the advanced arrangement of learning opportunities for the particular population of learners. A curriculum guide is a written curriculum. It is the process of preparing the duties of teaching, deciding upon goals and emphasis, determining curriculum content, selecting the learning resources, classroom procedures, evaluating progress, and looking towards the next steps. Modern concept about curriculum planning. The past life was simple and only few subjects, but nowadays the society is dynamic. All concept of curriculum cannot be accepted. Modern curriculum encompasses all meaningful and desirable activities outside the school that are planned, organized, and used educationally. Explain the factors influencing the curriculum nursing development. Philosophy of nursing education, educational psychology, society, student, knowledge explosion and scientific advancements, technological advancements in patient care, educational technology, transnational career opportunities and resources. Define teaching. Factors influencing learning process. Describe briefly on micro-teaching as a method of teaching. Teaching has been defined by many persons. H.B. Morrison says teaching is an intimate contact between the more mature personality and less mature one. Jackson, he says, teaching is a face-to-face encounters between two or more persons, one of whom the teacher intends to be effect certain changes in the other participants. Burton says teaching is the simulation, guidance, directions, and encouragement of learning. Factors influencing the learning process include the learner, the type of experience or training required for modification in the learner's behavior, the men and material resources needed for the provided desired experience and training. Discuss briefly on micro-teaching as a method of teaching. Micro-teaching is a scaled-down teaching encountered in the class size and class time, teaching of a small unit of content, small group of people in a small amount of time. To train inexperienced teachers for acquiring teaching skill, to improve the skills of experienced teachers. It's a micro-teaching cycle. Micro-teaching helps the teachers be better understand process teaching and learning and provides the opportunity to learn teaching skills, study their own teaching and study the teaching of others. The trainee teachers, micro lesson is reviewed, discussed, analyzed, evaluated to give a feedback. Micro-teaching is a teacher training technique currently practiced worldwide, provides teachers an opportunity to perk up their teaching skill by improving the various simple tasks called teaching skill. With the proven success among novice and seniors, the micro-teaching helps to promote real-time teaching experience. The core skill of the micro-teaching is presentation and reinforcement skills help the novice teachers to learn the art of teaching at ease and to maximum extent. Classify AV aids. They are classified into audio aids, projected and non-projected, visual aids, audio-visual aids. Classify general type of classroom test. This include multiple choice, matching type, true or false test, short answer type, problem test, oral exams, essay type, and performance test. Formative assessment is a term used any type of assessment used to gather student feedback and improve instruction. Formative assessment occur during the learning process, often while students are engaged in other activities. Anecdotal records, periodic quizzes or essays, diagnostic tests, and in-class or homework assignments are the type of formative assessment because they provide information about the student progress. Summative assessment occurs at the end of the unit of study in order to measure the amount of information the students have learned. Most traditional assessment types are considered summative. Summative assessment reflects the students' learning and teachers' ability to communicate information effectively. Basic principles of guidance and counseling. Guidance and counseling is a universal requirement. It is required by all individuals at all stages of his development, irrespective of age, sex, caste, and status. It is a goal-oriented. It is one of the planned activity which is carried out by a counselor and counselor to attain a common goal. Continuous process. It cannot be restricted to a problem solving situations only. The services are not just problem oriented. It is for the normal student too, and it's aimed for the all-round development of the student. Student centeredness. It should be organized while keeping in view the needs, interest, purpose of the students in the college. Evidence based. It is based on reliable data, therefore have adequate evidence before starting the process. There are several important psychological and non-psychological tests are used to gather information about the individual. Growth and development. The counselor has to take into the consideration the individual stage when they plan for services, and it also restricted to any particular developmental age. Professional activity. It should be not carried out by anybody but should be rendered by a trained professional only, which requires training on the part of counselor. Prevention as well as cure. Guidance should be organized to deal not only serious problems after they arise but also with causes of problems in order to prevent them from arising or to prepare the students better to solve the problem. Flexibility. There are no rigid procedure, techniques and approaches used this service since it takes into the consideration of principle of individual difference. Cause and effect. It accepts that problems have causes and interrelated, so deep knowledge of cause is essential. Counseling services aims at identifying the cause which leads to the present problem so that services can be rendered to the students to alleviate problem. Development of insight by accurate guide for the problem. Aim of discipline in education. The first aim is to create and maintain desirable conditions in the teaching learning situation and thus to achieve the objective. To create a favorable attitude towards the establishment and maintenance of conditions essential to effective work in order to achieve the desired objective. To assess the development of self-control and cooperation which are regarded as essential traits in the daily living as well as professional functioning. Briefly explain the impact of naturalism on education. Naturalism in education stands for the doctrine follow the nature in education. It wants all education to be strict conformity with the nature of the child. It stands for the complete freedom to be given to the child in learning. He is left alone absolutely free. The pertinent contributions in the field of education as sum up follow the nature is the watchword of naturalism. Innate nature, the child should be developed in natural environment and not in the artificial atmosphere of the school. Instincts, impulses and emotions should be formed on the basis of all education of the child. According to naturalistic, instincts should be main instrument of education. Pedocentrism is another important contribution of naturalists in the field of education. In an educative process, the child takes pivotal position. It is the child himself rather than the educator, the school, the book or the subject of study that should be in the foreground for the educational picture. Children should be treated as children and not as adults in miniature. Freedom of child is another important feature of naturalistic education. The child should grow freely according to their own nature and pace without interference from the educator or the parents. True education takes place when the nature, powers and inclinations of the child are allowed to develop freely with a minimum of guidance. The naturalists strongly advocate freedom for the child. Senses are gateways of knowledge. Education is very much effective when it comes with the sensory chances. Naturalistic consider the training of senses are very important. For principles of education, educative process must start and utilize the child's innate nature, emotions and capabilities. Thinking takes place when there is a problem and have three-step presence of a problem, search for a solution and testing of solution. Physical and mental development bound together, so thinking and hard work closely related. Condition of satisfaction is essential for development. For qualities of an evaluational tool include validity, reliability, usability and objectivity. For advantage of programmed instructions, the main emphasis on individual difference of the student environment. Students may learn their own pace. Students are exposed only to correct response, therefore possibility to commit errors reduced. Reinforcement and feedback helps the students to develop mastery over the content. For elements of daily plan or lesson plan, objectives, topic on the subject matter, evaluation and assignment. For qualities of a teacher, develop self-confidence, impartial to all students, develop good interpersonal relationship, imparts moral value and values of life. Difference between education and philosophy. Philosophy can be a study of fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence. Philosophers question varied phenomena of the world in order to understand reality. Philosophy attempts to value the objectives of goals, issues, and conceptual frameworks of education in a specific branch referred to as a philosophy of education. Education, on the other hand, is more focused on transmission of knowledge to the younger generations rather than questioning the laws of existence and reality and production of new knowledge. When speaking of education, it is often believed that education performs two functions, namely the conservative function and the creative function. Education occurs not only within the premises of the school and other formal education institutions, but also of the various social agents. Sometimes consciously and even unconsciously, the family and religion can be considered to such social institutions. Difference between lecture and seminar. Seminar is an instructional technique involves generating a situation for a group to have guided among themselves on a different aspect or component of a topic, which is generally presented by one or more method. The people involved in the seminar are organizers, chairperson, experts, participants. Lecture is a teaching activity where the teacher presents a content in an comprehensible manner by explaining the facts, principles, and relationships. During the teacher is expected to elicit student participation by employing appropriate techniques. In a lecture, students sit as an audience and the lecturer talks to them, usually 15 minutes or so, perhaps with some visual aids that overhead project video clips or PowerPoint, etc. Flannel graph and chart. Charts are the combination of graphic pictorial material designed for the orderly and logical visualizing of relationship between key facts and ideas. Main purposes are to show the relationship by means of facts, figures, to show the continuity process, for presenting material symbolically, for showing development of structure. Principles involve size of the chart, size of the letters, and the contrast of display material should be in such a way that it is readable by the farthest viewer. Standard chart paper size is 90 into 60 cm and 70 into 55 cm, suitable for most purposes. Flannel graph is storytelling system that uses a board covered with a flannel fabric, usually resting on a S. It is very similar to a fuzzy felt, although it is primarily used as storytelling medium rather than a toy. Principal flannel board usually adhesive qualities of interlocking layers of suitable materials to enable pictures and cards back with those fixed on the board are covered with a cloth or similar material simply by exercising gentle pressure. Short answer question, multiple choice question. Short answer questions useful to assess recall ability of the students. Used to assess the students in the classroom while the lecture is in the progress. Useful in a formative assessment and can be used summative assessment to supplement other forms of questions. They are also relatively easy to be set compared to many assessment methods. Multiple choice question is a form of an objective assessment in which respondents are asked to select only correct answers out of the choice from a list. Advantages include easy to administer and score, cover a large content area, high reliability, validity, objectivity, item analysis is possible, and questions can be constructed to address various levels of cognitive complexities. Summative and formative evaluation. Summative, it comes at the end of the term's course or program for teaching. Annual examination, half-yearly examination in the school, public examinations are the examples such as evaluation. Summative evaluation is done at the end of any program or instruction. Teachers, schools can use this assessment to identify strengths and weaknesses of the curriculum and instruction, with improvements to affecting the next years of the term students. Formative evaluation is ongoing, continuous evaluation. According to Agent Nicto, it is concerned with judgment made during the design and during the development of program and towards modifying, forming and improving the program before it is complete. Thank you. Thank you for listening.